Warning, the footage you're about to see may cause elevated levels of excitement in areas you never knew you had. This footage may also make you question your current smartphone choice. What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And yes, today this video is all about the hardware between the Magic V2 and the Mix Fold 3. Now, I even cracked out the scales and measuring tape for this one. Let's go. So the best place to start has to be that build. Yes, the folded and unfolded dimensions of both these phones are absolutely mind-blowing in my opinion. Now, the Honor Magic V2 takes a biscuit. It's the world's thinnest and lightest large format foldable phone. That cannot be understated. This is a mind-bendingly thin 4.7 millimeters unfolded and 9.9 millimeters folded. That's less than 1 centimeter for a foldable phone. Just incredible. Now, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 isn't exactly a slouch here. That comes in at a still incredible 5.3 millimeters unfolded and 10.9 millimeters folded. So there's a millimeter between them when they're folded and around about half a millimeter between them when they're unfolded. Just incredible. Now weight wise, there's more of a significant difference here. As you can see, and as promised, I cracked open the scales here. The Honor Magic V2 is, as promised, the world's lightest smartphone. Now, if you had a glass back version of this phone, it would be about 231 grams. As I have the vegan leather ultimate version, it's showing here as 236 grams. Now, if you have an iPhone in your pocket, an iPhone Pro Max specifically, this phone is way lighter than that. Now, a more similar weight to your iPhone 14 or 15 Pro Max is the Xiaomi. The Xiaomi weighs in at 264 grams. Folks, let me tell you, this is still incredible. Even though I necessarily don't always do this, I highly recommend people put a case on their phones. Now, the Honor Magic V2 and the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 both come with a case, both have a kickstand, and just to show you, each case is around about 25 grams. So when you add that to the weight of the phone, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 is 289 grams and the Honor Magic V2 is 256 grams. Just, yeah, again, mind-blowing. Now, let's move on to the screens on both of these devices, or should I say, all four screens on these devices. While they have similar aspect ratios and similar builds, the Xiaomi is a slightly larger device. Outer screen, 6.5 inch diagonal, inner screen, 8.03 inches. The Honor Magic V2, 6.4 inch diagonal outer screen, inner screen, 7.92 inches. Now what that actually means in real life, as you can see here, here's the handy dandy measuring tape to show you just how tall and wide both devices are. Both the outside screen, inside screen. Now, the display size isn't everything you need to know. You also need to know about the specs of both of these displays. Well, while both are 120 Hz the Honor Magic V2 gets significantly brighter on the outer and the inner screen. The Honor Magic V2 tops out at around 2,500 nits peak brightness on the outer screen and 1,600 nits on the inner screen. The Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 tops out at 1,300 nits on the inner screen and 1,800 nits on the outer screen. Now, as far as the quality of the screens, again, this one is looking like it goes to Honor. The pixel density on the screen on the inside of the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 is 360 ppi. The Honor Magic V2 is 420. Now on that size of screen, 420 and 360 does make a bit of a difference. It's a near 2K display on Honor Magic V2, so it's a brighter screen, it's a sharper screen. Yeah, again, both look incredible, as you can see here. But if you had to choose a winner, if you like, I'd have to give it to the V2. One thing I also want to bring up here, and it may be coming through on the video, it may not be, but there's something called pulse width modulation. Essentially, screen flicker. The pulse width modulation on the Honor Magic V2 is one of the highest in the industry. Now what that means to you and I, no flicker. Even through my camera at 60 frames per second, as you can see this recording, there will be no banding issues. Unlike on most foldable phones, whenever you see a screen flicker, that's typically due to the pulse width modulation. Now this is near 4,000, it's like 3,840 refresh rate when it comes to the PWM. And again, you will not notice in day-to-day life, but when you look at recordings of the screens, it makes a difference, compounding the fact that the Honor Magic V2 has far superior screen. Now, both phones have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, which is by far the best Snapdragon Android chip ever released. So performance-wise, they both have 740 Adreno GPU. Yeah, you're not going to kill these phones with gaming or video editing or multitasking, that's for sure. Now, one thing I do want to point out as well, in case you're waiting for it, this is a hardware comparison. I will not be going into software, multitasking, global ROM, Chinese ROM, downloading apps. This isn't for that. This video is going to be long enough just on hardware. Now, one area that they are different again, and we'll call this category overall battery, because it's not just about the size of the battery, it's about how efficient it is and how fast it can charge and in which ways it can charge. Now, start off with the easier one. The Honor Magic V2 is a silicon battery at 5,000 milliamp hours. Again, one of the first of its kind, but these tiny little batteries can power this phone for near enough 2 days with medium to high usage. 5,000 milliamps on something 9.9 millimeters thick when folded is again mind-bending. However, the battery is only charged wired at 66 watts. Not slow at all, but there's no wireless charging. One downside from the hardware of the Magic V2 that cannot be missed is the lack of wireless charging. Now, it does have 5 watts reverse wired charging. Essentially, you can use a cable, plug it into your V2, and then plug it into another phone to charge it, but only at 5 watts. Now, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 has a similar sized battery at 4,800 milliamp, so a couple of hundred less. However, this does charge at 67 watts. That 1 watt could make all the difference. But really, the key benefit of the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 when it comes to battery is that 50 watt wireless charging. Yes, unlike the Honor Magic V2, the Mix Fold 3 has wireless charging. So that's where that 1mm difference in thickness comes from. It's the wireless copper charging unit. Now, as mentioned, both batteries paired with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip are going to be beasts. From gaming to watching content, you're going to have hours and hours before you have any form of battery anxiety. Now, to the final category when it comes to hardware on these devices, it's the cameras. The cameras on both devices are fantastic, but somewhere I think we can all agree the Xiaomi takes the lead has to be with its zoom. So, to recap the camera setup, on the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 there's a quad lens, a 50 megapixel main, a 10 megapixel 3.2 optical zoom, a 10 megapixel 5 times optical zoom, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. All of these lenses produce fantastic photos and videos. Yes, the megapixels could be slightly higher, producing more sharper photos on the zoom lenses, but I'll take a 10 megapixel 5x zoom lens over the lack of a 5x optical zoom lens any day. And yes, as mentioned, the Honor Magic V2 does not have a 5x optical zoom lens. It's got a 20 megapixel 2.5 times optical zoom lens. However, the main and ultra wide cameras, for me, in my opinion, are far superior compared to the Xiaomi because these have been lifted from one of the best smartphones of the year, the Honor Magic 5 Pro. Yes, they are both the exact same lenses in that device, coming in at 50 megapixel main and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. If long range zooming is your thing and you must have a foldable phone, then I would say you probably want to stick with the Xiaomi. However, looking at the examples with the zoom, it's not as if both are outstanding at full 50 times zoom digitally, are they? Now, other hardware aspects, I just want to kind of wrap this video up before I give my final thoughts. UFS 4.0 storage on both, DDR5X RAM, up to 1 terabyte. This is the 1 terabyte ultimate version. You can get this up to 1 terabyte as well. So when it comes to storage and RAM, they really can't be separated. Speakers on both are super similar. I've not included the speaker test in here because it's so hard to get across in a YouTube video, but you can just take my word for it. Both speakers sound fantastic on the devices. Both dual SIM devices as well. There's no expandable storage. There's no eSIM support on either. But yeah, that's the hardware from top to bottom. As I sit here right now, I can tell you this has been one of the hardest comparisons to make. That's why, if you look back through the rest of the video, so that last however many minutes, those were all facts. I kept my opinions mostly out of it because both phones are so comparable. I had to keep it to actual raw facts. Now, when I'm giving my opinion now, please take with a pinch of salt, because I can highly recommend both devices. We are genuinely talking about the best, and like 1A and 1B. They're both top of the food chain. This one maybe slightly has the edge, but I like a 5x zoom lens. You might like a brighter display, a sharper screen, a smaller build, a thinner build. That's the V2. And that's why I keep going back and forward, and that's why it's the hardest comparison. So hopefully all the footage of the phones, showing you how much they weigh, showing you how thin they are, talking about the specs, has helped make any decision when it comes to purchasing. Now, please remember, if you are purchasing these devices, there are certain software aspects, and I said I wouldn't talk about software, but I have to mention this, it's my duty. The Honor Magic V2 does not have Google mobile services out the box. That's not to say that that won't change very, very soon with the release of the Honor Magic VS2. But The Xiaomi has Google mobile services out the box. You simply just need to download the Google Play Store APK and Bob's your uncle. It's a normal working Android phone, minus Android Auto. Neither phone have Android Auto. If you are looking to buy them, please consider purchasing through my link to WONDA Mobile. I can't recommend them enough. Over 100 of you have already purchased a phone using my link, so thank you. That means a lot. That is essentially paid for this device. So I honestly, I can't thank you enough for that. The link is in the description for that. There's also a link to the Average Dad store. We've had a couple of sales of the t-shirts. If I see you walking around, I will jump for joy. Highly unlikely. 7 billion people, 2 t-shirts. You just never know. So that's been a comparison between these two phones. I know how jealous and envious some of you are, but I can't afford to keep all these, as you know. The Mix Fold 3 has already got someone's name on it. However, I got another foldable device today. And I mentioned it in a previous video, and it's finally arrived. I also have, again, the Vivo X Fold Plus. Now, why the Plus and not the Vivo X Fold 2? This little guy. 5x periscope zoom lens, just like on the Xiaomi. So, goes without saying, the next comparison video you will see will be between these two. My next actual video will probably be a review, a longer term review of the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3. I will then have copious content on this sweet baby. Can I just say straight away, actually, before I end this video, when it comes to looks and feeling the hand, I am going to make a stance and I'm going to say that this is the nicest looking and feeling foldable device ever. There. Looking and feeling, I've never said it's the best. Overall, just looking and feeling. This still looks and feels fantastic. Anyway, I've rambled for too long. If you stayed to this point in the video, please pop the keyword scissors. And if you haven't already, smash subscribe if you're watching this content. On one of my last videos, I checked the stats and nearly 70% of the viewers haven't subscribed. Why? Are you mad? Look at the phones I'm buying for you. Until next time.